I started working on the front seat, which will be in front of the engine. Remember this deck beam here, the engine will be behind it, and then the front seat will sit like this, and the back will be like that. So I've got these two boards cut right now. They're just sitting in there, and I'm going to make it similar to the way I did this back seat. In some ways, you know, kind of the two pieces like that. And as far as storage underneath, though, the front, main storage would be in the middle because there's just more room. And under here, I don't know, I may do a little bit there. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do here because I think the positioning of this front part of the seat, it's going to be in front of this frame, and then you've got this floor timber there, so I'd like to have the bottom of the storage be all the way at the bottom of these boards, which is below this top edge. A little hard to see, but it's below the top edge of that floor timber, so I can't just put plywood across like I did back here in these outer storage areas. So that's something I got to figure out. And also, I want to have on the front seat, I want to have 3 removable seat bottoms instead of the 2 like this. So when in this back seat, when I get the padding and then the upholstery and stuff done, there'll be basically two parts here, whereas in front, I want to actually have it be 3. So that means that these, you know, I'm going to do pieces from front to back. I'll have one on the outer edge of the front seat, and then I'm going to have probably one here, there, and there to make three sections instead of 2. So that part will be different. And also, I'm going to make the back and have it be hinged like this, but I'm not going to do I don't need to do this setback because I have room here. This backboard, I'm able to move it back, whereas in back, it back far enough that it'll be basically close to the back of the seat. So then I'll be able to mount the hinges. What I'll do is I'll have a piece like this, so you can see it here. So a piece like this sticking up and back, but there'll just be one board spacing, like another piece like this spacing between the that backboard and then where this hinge mount is connected. Hopefully that makes sense. So instead of this being set back like this, I had to do this because I wasn't able to move this back far enough. Because the way I did it, I probably could have done other things, but you've got these things in the way, the stringer clips and stuff. So anyway, that piece supporting that hinge will be mounted not exactly to the back. There'll be one board spacing to set it back just a little bit. That'll allow overlap of the seat bottom a little bit, so it's not so close to this edge. Give me a little bit of margin there. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense, but that is what I plan on doing. So I'm working more on the front seat, and so I've got those 3 connection points. I'm gonna basically do the same thing I did in the rear seat, like I mentioned before. I think I mentioned that before with the hinges like that. And so got those, and now what I'm trying to do is, I know I talked before about wanting storage to be deeper, as deep as possible, but I think I may just go ahead and do on top of have that bottom part of the storage rest on top of the floor timber there. I'll lose a little bit, but it makes things a lot easier. So I have a board in there to see what that sort of looks like. So I'm working more on the front seat, and so I'm getting there. You can see I've got my 4 braces that connect the front. This is actually the front board and the back board, and so when it sits in there, there's an angle. When I cut the slots where the motor stringers go through, the front is 1 inch. Basically, the seat will be 1 inch higher than the rear. And I just got done cutting. So this is roughly a 4-degree angle, and I just cut these edges like that edge in a 4-degree there, front and back, just so it, when I have my seat sitting in there, it'll lay down a little better. I didn't do that in the back seat, but I thought I would just go ahead and do it in the front seat. And so I just did that with my table saw right there. And so what I'm going to do, my plan is I'm going to put support strips on the inside that'll rest inside the stringers. So my storage container, if you remember from the last video I talked about, I wasn't sure how I was going to do that because these boards go down below that top edge of the floor timber. So I'm going to put 2 support strips and then lay plywood on top that sits just above that floor timber. And so what I think though I'm going to work on next is I want to support this seat in the middle, both front and back, just like I did in the rear seat in the front. I've got that piece that it sits on because there's not a lot of structure when you cut these slots like this for the stringers. There's not a lot of wood there to take weight of people sitting on it, and I don't want that cracking, so I'm going to have a support in the front and the back to support that. So I think that's what I'm going to work on next.